Hi, welcome to today's episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat. I'm Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
And we are live today.
And
so we are live on YouTube. We're live on, we should be live on IG. And we're live over here on my phone, on TikTok, and should be on Facebook as well.
So tell everybody.
Yeah. And we had a guest for today, and unfortunately, our guest had a death in the family, a close family member. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the family.
Absolutely.
And
life happens.
Yes,
and that's why you're supposed to always be kind and loving to folks, because you never know when something bad may happen to you.
We don't get together all the time because we're usually virtual. So since we were together, we were like,
and we ain't been together now, I don't know how long.
Yeah.
So we just love the chemistry.
Let's do the show. Let's do the show.
Let's keep it moving.
And so we just want to talk about like some things that are going on in the news. One of it being the rollbacks in DEI and the Department of Justice, rolling back federal programs and the legal attacks on corporate diversity. Black Americans face a decline in structural equity efforts.
And how people have basically just kissed the ring.
Yes, that's the part.
What it is.
That's the part that's crazy to me.
Yep.
Companies, like after George Floyd, it was performative. Companies like Target and like all of these companies were, creating these Black Lives Matter programs and doing these different initiatives.
What tea we're drinking this time, but want to let folks know that. But people were sitting up here saying, okay, we have to take some ownership. Silence was complicit, right? Meaning you agree with it, so forth, even though you're not standing up for it and using your whiteness to move the needle so that everybody can be treated fairly. So companies were like, let's take a look and take a dive at our higher echelon, who at the top tier, who's getting paid the most. And then people started realizing we didn't have a lot of Black board of directors, Black leadership, CEOs, and all this
people
stuff.
Making policy.
Making policy.
Yep. If you have Black store managers, if you have Black people that are employed in the store that are like the face of the store, these are not the people who are setting the policy. These are not the people who are implementing programs. And so that's what's important,
right?
Is that you have people in decision making authority who are actually implementing. As well. Hey Juliet, I see that you joined us.
Hey y'all.
Hey Marie Rose.
Hey,
Sherry Blossom. Kenny. Jenny Gal 49. Oh, I love that, Jenny Gal.
I know that's right. Tag everybody, let us know y'all live.
Yeah.
And chime in because we want to hear from you.
And so my issue with these folks rolling back their DEI programs is that they were never really committed.
Nope.
And so
it was all on surface.
And so Target is getting is getting what they should be getting, which is us taking our dollars elsewhere, because there was no real commitment to really make an impact. And I hate that Black businesses,
that's what I was about to say,
that have
that relationship
with
their products are on the shelves, and they're the ones that are going to get most of the
There you go.
Buy directly from them.
There you go. So for those of you who like Tabitha Brown's clothing, you like Tabitha Brown's seasonings, get it from Tabitha directly.
Right. And I understand, because she even made a comment. Hey Tabitha, how you doing?
And we love Tabitha Brown.
We love Tabitha. We love all things, trying to empower our communities. She made a statement which is very true, but it speaks to another level of the chain and the link of being enslaved. and how we're not getting our share of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the money for shelving our product.
Mm.
So when you start having, you're selling the seasoning, you're selling the hair products, where are you going to store it when you have this mass production? Because it's not being made and shipped out. You're ordering up bulk. Where do you have to put it? Well, when you partner with the Targets and the other organizations,
they have the infrastructure.
You have the infrastructure. And so how can we do that? So that's a layer. And so you have people where you can't afford to store your merchandise. Then that messes up. So even stuff next day that I'm stopping my subscription for that one too. But DEI has helped me start seeing what's the website where you could go and see your spending.
You would ask me.
Yeah, I know. We gotta look it up, fam. You go ahead and talk. I'm gonna look it up because it tells you where you spend your money and how they spend their money in their votes.
Yes.
You understand?
So it means that we have to be, as consumers, we have to be mindful about how we spend our dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Be intentional about spending your dollars with Black-owned businesses, and when you can, and going back, it's not just a one-time. It is not just a one-time deal.
Mm-hmm.
You got to continue to go
keep
back,
going.
to keep going back. And I've heard people say, Black businesses need to do better on customer service.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an issue, with
just
that
had
business,
that
let's talk about that. This is what I just experienced.
It allows you to track your spending. And girl, when I went on there and
I want to acknowledge Roby joined and said hi.
Hey, Roby.
Tania has
Tania.
Joined.
Hey.
Hi to Canarvo.
Hey.
To Claude.
Thank
you for joining us.
Thank you. And if y'all know what I'm talking what it does, if you put in the places where you shop, it'll kick back and let you know. It'll let you know if this company, let's just say ABC company.
Yeah, I have the app on my phone. I just can't check it because
and I can't think of it. And it'll tell you as a company, because they always say corporations has a vote. They have a vote.
Yes.
And they're the CEOs and everything.
It tells you where they spend their money.
And it tells you if they're spending a Republican, if they're spending a Democrat, or if they're not giving to either. And in my personal opinion, how do you feel? My personal opinion, I don't want them to give to either.
Well, because I want you to, if you support who I like, then I think it's okay.
Yeah,
but
so correct. And if they go to the other one, then what?
I'm okay with the business that's neutral and does not spend money
that's
either
being
way.
Neutral. Because as the CEO, you still can do what you want to do.
That's true.
But the company, to me, should be neutral. Because you even whatever side of the aisle you on, even if you're independent, corporations have so much money that it influences the politics. It's not how that goes. How much money did that person donate?
I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about them people.
See what I'm saying? It's so unfair. It's so unfair. Yeah, but that's my point. Go to this website once I figured it out. Does anybody know? Does anybody say anything? I know somebody got to know what it is other than me.
I know what I have the app on my phone because
I know, right? What is the name of it?
And I shared it with you as well before.
I know it's gonna be on my phone, but okay.
So what we're talking about is being intentional with your dollars, where you're shopping, where you're doing businesses, and to continue to go back to Black-owned businesses. And if you have an issue with them, go to the owner. Help them correct it. Now, if you're continuing to get poor customer service time after time, then that's a different story. Correct. But you may be bringing something to their attention that they coming to DEI. These programs that are being cut, it's having a real impact. The unemployment numbers for the first time since COVID, actually since Joe Biden was in office, because the unemployment went down once he took office. Some of that was because of the COVID Relief Act, but unemployment has been ticking back up, and those numbers are in direct correlation to government layoffs and also businesses that are laying off. And some businesses have no real commitment to diversity, and they are laying off people of color, and particularly Black women are being laid off in higher numbers.
DC
and because and we are, and the reason why that is because black folks were heavily indexed and employed in the federal government. So there's a high number of Black folks who are employed in federal government. So when you start having layoffs, we are disproportionately impacted because we are employed in
those fields that's not even. And then here it is, a double web. Click another link in the chain, right?
Yep.
Good Unite Us. I knew I was gonna find it. Yep. Goods Unite Us. It's goodsuniteus.com, y'all.
So check out goodsuniteus.com. Yes. And you can go and you can look and you can see how a company donates to political campaigns, where they're spending their money. And when you see how they spend their money, their treasures.
That's right. And how it sticks with yours. So Goods Unite Us, Open Secrets. And those are just a few. There are tons of other ones out there. If you know some, let us know. But we want to be conscious spenders.
Yes.
We want to be conscious spenders. We want you to be thinkers. And so be informed. Knowledge is power. And that's what we're here to do. Drop some knowledge and have a little fun while we're doing it.
Yeah. Other things, proposals under Project 2025. I know we keep talking about this because this is Stephen Miller who has the president's ear,
Mm-hmm.
is part of Project 2025. And Project 2025 wants to and is in the process of
Mm-hmm.
disrupting life as we know it, dismantling the Department of Education, Head Start.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Head Start baby. I So I was a Head Start baby. I benefited from that.
Mm-hmm.
And read early, um, had a voracious love of books because of being an early reader. So Head Start has some merits.
Yep.
And I am a lifelong learner. I was in school up until I was 26, got 3 degrees.
And it also helps families who have to go to work.
Yes.
And now their child is in this place where they can be get enrichment with education and so forth. And so it not only helps that child, but also helps that family with childcare.
So did you go to Head Start?
I do not remember going to Head Start. I don't. That's
remember.
why I'm quiet and listening.
Okay. The only thing I remember.
I just remember being over people's houses when I was little, because what they would have.
Yeah.
But I remember kindergarten. I don't remember Head Start.
So I
remember Slipkey.
I remember Head Start. I went from being at the babysitters and then going to Head Start at 3. And I remember because my neighbor across the street, who was the same age as I am, her name and we started preschool together. And on mornings where my mother couldn't take me to preschool, her brother would walk us down the street because the preschool was in our neighborhood.
Oh, really?
So yeah. So I was a Head Start baby. And from there went to, and we did more than just color and play. Like we learned our numbers.
Right.
We were learning. And so if you had a similar experience in Head Start, drop a comment. Yep. Share your stories. Share your stories about Head Start. But yeah, Head Start, I believe I credit Head Start with helping me love learning and helping me love school. I stayed in school until I was 26 continuously. So I was in school for 23 years. I always joke about that.
And it helps you with socialization, which we know COVID has kind of pushed us back. A lot of people have keyboard courage, and some people just have you start off with socialization by going to church. If you don't have a big family, most of us probably had a big family, but if you had more than one sibling, then you started with that. But then it grew by going to church. It grew by going to church, and then going to church, we used to have like the little downstairs where you have class in church, Bible study and everything. But then like with your experience, if you have church and preschool, and you have that socialization with meeting new people and everything, and now you tie it into your education, your reading and writing, like all of that plays a part. And that's another reason why Head Start is so important.
So important, yes. Those socialization skills. The
socialization skills, soft skills that we don't get just in a textbook.
Head Start is under attack. Affirmative action, civil service, voting enforcement,
housing.
Oh,
girl, the affordable
healthcare,
affordable housing that we all love so much.
And this is not just a Black issue, right?
No.
This is an American.
In terms of their votes, because when you said this is not a Black issue, this is everybody issue, I felt like some people would have thought that it was just going to be a Black issue. That's truly how I feel. There were some people that had in their heart, because this administration has really their heart.
Because it's during those times. So I've heard about the experiences they had. And because of that, I am always cognizant that racism still exists. It didn't go anywhere.
Right.
You know, they have on a suit and a tie now rather than a Klan outfit, or they have on khaki pants and white shirts rather than Klan outfits.
And some of them.
So, you know, it's still there.
I tried to watch what I was about to say.
Say it.
And some of them have a badge. Mr. Floyd's assassinator.
Yeah.
Is that a word? SAT?
Assassinate, yeah.
Who assassinated
we know, I know, we know what you're talking about.
Know, y'all speak cat. But at any rate, yeah.
So
they come in different sizes and forms and shapes. People with, and we're only talking about people with hate in their heart. So no, it's not everybody. Don't send an email. Don't send a chat. I'm only speaking about people who have hate. That may look like it impacts a certain demographic, people that look like me and my sister. It truly is impacting everybody, because the good thing about the civil rights movement and our movement, the movement for humanity, it impacts everybody. Everyone was able to benefit from the bloodshed from our ancestors to fight for their freedom in this country and abroad.
Yes.
So anyone who thinks that what we're seeing from DEI being removed, being rolled back, from Project 2025 threats that impact housing and education and access to quality food and your health care, like, this impacts everybody, because the last time
there's a through line. There is a through line.
Yes.
And so for those people who are implementing Project 2025, the thought is that it's going to just impact
bleed the same. I learned that from a Buddhist. And when you look at it that way, we do, don't we?
We do.
So it's a human issue. And it takes all of us to make sure that we look out for our brothers and sisters in that. So Project 2025, rolling back, those things will impact all of us. And
Absolutely.
We need to pay attention. Look and see when those things are going to come into how it's going to affect you, and make a plan. Make a plan now. I don't know how would you plan for that? How in the world are you going to plan for that?
You know,
I mean, seriously, how are you going to plan for your health care to be taken away? Your prescription drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's like a serious thought, folks.
So that takes more of a concerted effort for, and I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like community type of healthcare, community health. Come together to have like a health clinic, maybe like once a month. A doctor may come through and volunteer their time.
Or like dentists give free
dentists give free dental care.
Yep.
And so we would need things like that. And so if you are in an area that a large percentage of people don't have access to healthcare, that could be something that you could look at organizing.
Oh, yeah.
In conjunction with the church, in conjunction with a health center, a community health program, like your county community health department.
And that goes with everything then. Food, nonprofits. Oh, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, see, good. We asked that question. Yeah, that's a good one.
There are, you know, and of course it doesn't give you, it's not the same as having health care, like insurance, where you get to have preventative health care. You get to, you know, you can constantly be monitored for things. But if and look for programs like free mammograms, free health screenings. Those are the kind of things we need to be we need to be looking at, and particularly in low income communities. And low income does not always mean black and brown.
Please, Fats, can you say that again?
Low income does not mean black and brown. there are plenty of
Statistics.
low-income people in this country
that are non-black,
that are non-black or brown.
One of my talk radio stations was actually citing the statistics on that in terms of how many people were actually receiving certain government programs, TANF, food stamps, so forth, and the number will astonish you. So family, go out, check the numbers, and find out for yourself. But be educated. Don't believe everything that people want to put down your throat saying that it's all black and brown people that do that. So just the transition, what we doing, voter suppression and political marginalization.
Oh my God.
I'm confused. We got all this stuff, and so y'all, we always go off the cuff for their belief system, whether it be religion or some people don't believe that votes don't. I mean,
I don't understand. I
don't understand it, and especially by both of us being candidates and by us losing by such a close number, round one, and then me even closer the second time I ran, 16 votes that took us to a runoff. And when people say your votes don't matter, dude, 16 votes, like that just could have been 16 of you. How many people we got that many on a thing watching us now, like, dude. So this country, and look around, does not want your voice to be heard or seen, because it's constantly this state. When Mr. Floyd was assassinated before, I used to take water. And stand in line at the voter registration building when it was long lines, like Obama.
Now in Georgia,
and all that stuff.
In Georgia, we live in Georgia.
Correct.
And now
I would have a charger, so I would take people's phones
and
go charge their phones, go back, and I don't know if this is legal or not, but I would stand in line for their place so they could go use the bathroom and then come back. So I was adamant about I would bring my fold-up chair, you need to place it down, so that people wouldn't stay. These things that I'm saying, and I'm passionate about it, because now in this state, I would go to jail.
That's true.
I would go to jail to give somebody water.
So some other things that have passed in several states. I know they passed here in Georgia. New voter ID laws, making it harder for folks to be able to get IDs so that they can vote, or changing the requirements of what was considered ID. Suitable ID.
Correct.
Like one of the things that used to be suitable ID would be like efficient licensing, because it was your
driver's license.
No, your driver's license still counts, but your right to carry, your firearm right to carry, you've already gone through a background check in order to get your right to carry. So that used to serve as ID. Now it's not. So they've changed the list of items that are now considered as valid ID and making it harder. And so now you have to have your birth certificate to be able to get a driver's license or your ID. And there are people who lived in rural communities that had midwives, that the midwives did not file for the birth certificate. And so there were some workarounds in the past of what would count for that birth certificate. And so now the government is not accepting those forms of like the birth registration as a valid ID. Yes. So I am not. And so these are some of the past in the last few years. Like, let us know. Hey Lily, we see that you joined. But let us know in the comment section if there's anything that you are aware of.
I'm trying to search and see too, because I thought at one point some of the legislators fought in Georgia for your voters registration to come up when you register for your driver's license.
The motor voter bill.
And
so it's still there.
Okay.
But before, so in Georgia, when you would go
Just like it's easy for you to buy water anywhere you go. You can buy water easier than you can get information on how to register to vote in this state, in my opinion.
And while we're at it, if you are not registered to vote, please Google your voter Georgia,
but in your state, type in your Secretary of State.
Your Secretary of State, because your Secretary of State is the one that would do your voter registration.
Correct. So that's all you got to do is type in.
So look up your voter registration, how to register to vote in your state.
Yep.
And get registered, because I know there are people who think that your vote doesn't matter. And I have to tell you this. If your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't be working so goddamn hard to take the right away from you.
John Lewis bill hadn't even been passed, has it?
Ooh, no.
It passed the one chamber and installed in the second, I believe. Something like that. And instead of
your vote is your power.
And instead of doing that to honor him in his passing, they wound up gave us something else.
The other things that they're doing, they're limiting mail and early ballots. One of the things that they did in Georgia is they limited the number of there used to be they kind of looked like the old school mailboxes, U.S. Post Office boxes, and you could drop your ballot in there, and they were all around the county. And they were at every voting precinct outside of the precincts, and the early voting spots, and you could drop your early voter ballot into the box.
Yep.
Well, Georgia limited that the counties could I think they only have 2 boxes per county.
I don't know how many they have per county. I don't know the
answer. I believe it's 2. I think it's only 2. But like my closest box is 10 miles away at the county board of registration. And so because of that, I still took my early voting ballot down there, and up there anyway. But people who are unable to get to wherever that ballot box is. Yep. So things that are going on across this country: new voter ID laws, limits on mail and early voting, and they're disproportionately impacting the Black vote and our representation.
Because most people got to go to work. If your early voting is between whatever, say 9 to 5,
and they limited the
days. They did fight for some folks to have over the weekend, but Monday through Friday, if you go to work and you work from 8 to 5, and your early voting hours end at 5, then there's no way you're going to make it to the polls, because those ballot boxes are now inside of buildings that you have to go into. They're no longer outside. So you can't even, I'm still in traffic, let me go ahead, or I can just drop into this box. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. To find out what's going on in your city, wherever you live in the United States. And then also the website that my girl was talking about is vote.gov. Vote.gov. If you go to vote.gov anywhere in the United States, put in your credentials, and it'll let you know how to get registered and all that stuff. Yep, vote.gov. Please do that. And just stay informed, stay plugged in. And if you don't know what to do, join some of these organizations that's been around since the 1800s, whatever. It's a lot of organizations out here doing great work to help have move the needle and fight for justice and fight for humanity. Remember that we're fighting for humanity. Everybody should have the opportunity to have a great quality of life, and that all means food, health care, education, clean water, safety. All of that means the same thing. So everybody wants to be safe, and that's nothing wrong to just ask for that and to fight for that. It's unfortunate that we have to fight for it, but that's where we are. So go to vote.gov and check out your status. you can, just find whatever lane you're in.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so, I don't want us as Americans to feel like we're powerless, particularly Black Americans, because we know that 80-something% of us, 92% of Black women, we had power. We had power at the ballot. Other folks didn't vote the same way, but we did have power in the ballot. We have numbers.
And we still do.
And we still do. But what I want to say is don't be discouraged. And don't feel as if we are just like windmilling it out here, fighting against the wind.
Yep.
There are organizations. If you're feeling overwhelmed and don't know like where to start regarding how to get into the fight, join organizations that are already doing the work.
That's right.
Join the NAACP for the Advancement of Colored People, and not just Black people are members.
And they are not. There are a ton of people of different nationalities.
Yes. Join the ACLU, which is the American Civil Liberties Union. They're filing lawsuits right now as we speak. So is the NAACP against this current administration. Join Fair Fight. They're fighting voter suppression and protecting voter rights. Fair Election Center. Find some of these organizations.
Human Rights Watch.
Yes. The League of Women Voters. These are just a few organizations that are doing the work.
Yeah.
And so, do a little bit of due diligence to do your homework and find out.
If you go to church, plug into your church.
Some of your
churches probably have political action committees. They have
and my church
organizations.
Does.
Yep. So definitely join your church. Of organizations that are community focused, that you can, and they're all over. Like you can always look to donate. You can always ask to see if they're in your local area, and maybe if it's not something out there by you, create it. You know what I'm saying? You can do it. Be the change that you want to see, and that's real. That's I know when Mr. Floyd was assassinated, that's what shook me. It shook me to my core, and I was convicted to do something. So don't wait until a travesty, if at all possible. It's always an opportunity for you to do change. And that wasn't the first thing that I was doing, but that was the thing that propelled me into politics. But I was always, giving food and helping people and Meals on Wheels and all that kind of stuff, feeding veterans. But it took me to this space.
So we just got a comment on YouTube that they cannot. Well, no.
Technology.
I'm not sure.
And it say it right there.
Show comments on stage.
Oh yeah, no, I meant
that right there. Yeah, it's showing. It's showing on StreamYard that we are on YouTube. So I'm not sure what's going on. I apologize for our.
But we love the love that y'all giving us, and that's not going that's going to encourage us to keep moving, because we're doing this because you know what, we get a lot of feedback from y'all.
We do.
And thank y'all for following us. Thank you for supporting us. So go ahead, sis.
Is the sister, and I don't have her name, and I apologize.
I do, because it's Kat.
Not her. I'm talking about her too.
Oh.
But the woman in Georgia that some early pregnancy.
Yep.
Within the first trimester. Went in, she was pregnant, and she was complaining of a headache. Turns out once she got back and they sent her home, she goes back to the hospital. She gets to the hospital. She pretty much she passes away. They had her on life support, and because she was pregnant, there was no brain activity, but because she was pregnant, they kept her alive. They kept her body functioning. She wasn't alive. They kept her body functioning long enough so that she could be cut open for that baby to be harvested.
Yep.
And I know that may sound like some harsh language, but her family was not in favor.
Adriana Smith's baby named Chance was born prematurely on Friday.
Yes. So the family was not in support of keeping her on life support. And she was a nurse. And the family said this is not something that she wanted. And the child's father also said, and so she was very early on in her pregnancy, and they kept her alive long enough so that they could take the baby. And that's troubling. The fact that the family didn't have any autonomy, and I think she even had like a DNR.
That's what I'm trying to see if it says that.
But the fact that the family didn't have any say-so or autonomy over what her wishes were, that is scary. And then we contrast that to the state right below us, and we had a Republican.
Sure.
I'm laughing because it's so wild. There was a Republican legislator, female. Her name is Kat.
Wait, before you jump to her, I want to read the mothers. I'm on BBC.com, and I was just trying to get it so it doesn't seem choppy to our audience.
Go ahead.
But I'm on BBC.com, folks. HALPRT from BBC News on the 17th of June 2025. Again, prayers go out to the family of Adriana Smith. She lost her life, and the baby Chance is here. But it looks like her mother, Miss Newkirk, Newkirk, she basically is on record with the news saying that at the time that her grandson, now that the child is born, said at the time that her grandson may be blind, unable to walk, or even struggle to survive because of the complications of her daughter's health. And the decision to keep her on life support should have been left up to the family. Miss Newkirk told the NBC affiliates. So to your point, I just wanted to give like quotes from the family. It's not a speculation. Yeah. This is actually what the family was saying. And the fact that now you've made this know what I'm saying? Because we know that people are for pro-life, but they're not pro-quality of life.
So they're pro-birth.
Right, that's right.
Really, they're pro-birth,
but you're not quality of life.
Exactly.
That's right. Thank you for the correction.
So they're pro-birth, and now that Chance is here, is the grandmother gonna be able to get Medicaid to take care of his extenuating medical?
You mean the Medicaid that they're gonna take back? Oh, okay. What else you say?
That part.
Is it gonna be gonna have pre-K?
And so she didn't plan to be a grandmother, to be a mother to this child at 50 something, because she'd already raised her child. She'd already raised their children, right? So, what support does she receive for this child?
And the only thing the family is saying is it should have been their choice.
It should have been their choice.
Yeah.
So for those who are you're really pro-life, not pro. You're pro-birth. You're not pro-life, because if you're pro-life, then you make sure that We contrast that with this legislator in Florida, Republican legislator who voted. Well, you know what? I don't know if she voted for it, but
yeah, I'm trying to pull up her record.
She was in the Florida legislature, and Florida also has one of the most restrictive abortion bans as well. She was 5 weeks pregnant and went in, and their abortion ban starts at 6 weeks. She went in, and the doctors were reluctant. So the baby, she didn't have a fetal heartbeat. The baby wasn't going to survive, and the doctors were reluctant to do a D&C to, you know, remove the pregnancy. I believe it was an ectopic pregnancy, so it wouldn't have been viable. And so they were reluctant to go in and do anything medically because of the abortion ban. So doctors are afraid to provide just civil, but criminally liable. So the doctors were reluctant to provide care. They then did, after she started making phone calls. She started making phone calls, and so the doctors did the surgery. They did the surgery. You know, she's fine. But the hypocritical part about it is she actually blames Democratic lawmakers. She blames Democrats in the state for scaring doctors to perform the procedure. Republicans passed the bill, but she blames Democrats for scaring doctors, as if doctors aren't sued every day for things
every
that
single
happen.
day. Every single day.
Every single day. So it was just, I'm baffled when I hear this story.
Girl, I'm reading, so I'm off with a K, Kamek. And this also says that her office, she has been allegedly receiving, is a repeat victim of threats following an exclusive with Wall Street Journal, who spoke about expelled pregnancy. Is that what they call it? See, it's something. My comment is, do as I say, not as I do. It's good for me, but evil for you.
Weren't you just talking about the Republican? There was a Republican.
It was a few of them. It was a few of them.
Republican legislators that have paid for abortions.
According to The Guardian, you know, we got to drop where we get our stats from. According to The Guardian, it's something that was written back in, I don't have the date, but I know this happened like in 2008. And it's The Guardian. It's called "A Republican Theme on Abortions. It's Okay for Me, Evil for Thee" by Arwa Mahdawi, Mahdawi, and basically who talks about America under previous administrations. We live in a God-fearing America, blah, blah, blah. And Lloyd has made his mission to ensure refugee women, including unaccompanied minors, don't get abortions. He even blocked a 17-year-old girl who had been raped from having an abortion. The child, the one who is destroyed, is not an aggressor. Quote, he argued in a report. No, Scott, the child isn't an aggressor. Are you? As Mother Jones reported this week, despite a patronizing, Lloyd doesn't always practice what he preaches. As a young man, he drove an ex-girlfriend to get an abortion and paid for half of it. Lloyd joins an illustrious list of Republicans whose stance in place where families can make that decision for what's best for the family, in my opinion, especially when you have hypocrisy in office. If you're going to say it, don't be one that you sitting up here, you doing it for yourself, but you don't want somebody else. It's just like immigration. You pass a law after you'd have made your. That being said, family, get involved, stay involved, and make sure you follow Conversations with Karen and Kat, because there's a lot of stuff going on, honey. You sit up here.
So we just wanted to today to just. I know we threw out a lot. It's a lot going on. And we've been missing you guys, and we wanted to come on and go live and talk to you directly. What were you gonna
bring it back to like we always do? Juneteenth. We can't let this one go out and talk about Juneteenth.
What about it?
And talk about the Urban Society, NAACP, their Juneteenth event.
So
talk about on that weekend,
on Saturday,
and talk about Akosua.
We were at the United Ebony Society here in Gwinnett County, Georgia. The United Ebony Society, along with the NAACP, hosted a Juneteenth festival, and limited. And so I had a booth out there. We had so many people stopping through. We had politicians stopping through. We had
community
leaders stopping through.
Churches, clergy. We had kids. We love kids. We had students running by.
And my son, who also wrote a book, Anthony's Red Cape. He sold out of his books at the Juneteenth Festival. So, mkpublishing.org. Yeah. And Akosua-Hosi is AKOSUAHOSI.com. Akosua-Hosi, AKOSUAHOSI.com. She's showing you earrings that she got from me.
And the ring.
So it's clothing and accessories. Everything is handmade in Ghana and Kenya. It's clothing, handbags, jewelry, and some of the items I get from Kenya as well. And I've met them. I've been to their home. They've been gracious enough to have us in, me and my husband. So we've been to Ghana twice. Because I'm building relationships. This is not just a business. And a portion of the proceeds support two organizations in Ghana, one being the Cape Coast School for the Deaf and the Blind, and the other being the Kumasi Children's Home, which is the children are in foster care, and they can remain there until they turn 18, and then even after that, some of the young people remain, and they're going to college. They're living there. So for the Cape Coast School for the Blind, we were blessed enough to be able to take 4 laptops and a printer, along with school supplies. And my dear friend here, she donated. She provided the funds for the printer, and some other folks donated linen. We took linen. We also took toiletries. We took feminine products for the girls. So and they also had a cash donation. So we've been blessed enough to be able to do that. So once you shop Akosua-Hosi.com, you are directly supporting these two organizations in Ghana.
Purchase with a purpose.
Purchase with a purpose. I love that.
I love that. Look, purchase with a purpose. That's right.
But Conversations with Karen and Kat.
Yes.
We thank you for taking the time to listen to our live, to join us.
To be a part of this journey.
And to be a part of this journey, because we both ran for office. I ran in 22. She ran in 21 for the first time, ran again in 23. And this platform we created this platform to engage with people who are creating solutions we want to talk to folks who are shaking their fingers at our elected officials and folks who are in policy decisions. And so if that's who you are, we want to hear from you. So if you know anybody like that, and it could be anyone across the world, because we do this virtually.
Correct.
So if you know anyone that you would like to see featured on Conversations with Karen and Kat, send us a DM. Hit us up in the DMs. This is one time when hitting us up in the DMs is not a bad thing.
That's right. That's right. Go to our website, KarenandKat.com, and you'll have all of our contact information. And share, like, subscribe, because, and I didn't like saying all of that, but I get it now. Because the more people that engage, and the more people we can help.
Yes.
Because our shows is truly a ministry for us. This has turned into a couple of chicks just chopping it up.
Just chatting it up.
And when we realize, you know what, somebody else needs this. It truly is. You know, that felon in office, they're trying to take away the LGBTQ portion of the 988 line, which is, you know, at any rate, dial 988, use the line, and get help that you need. Please check in on yourself, check in on your friends, create a care plan for yourself. And I can't stress mental health enough. That's like, you know, my baby, what we really want to focus on and let people know. So please follow us, subscribe, and plug in, and send people who are game changers, like my sister said, that's making things happen. And guess what?
We want to hear from you. We want to talk to you.
If it's you, hey,
let us know. Let us know.
Come into our love seat, like our sister told us from the other show.
Yes, absolutely. So, as always, we want to thank you for joining us on this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat,
where we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.